Hello and welcome to round 14 of the LFS 7 TRR Championship 2020. Today we have two rounds of the FXO at Fernbay Gold, two 13-lap races. I'm joined in the commentary box once again by Thilo Falkenberg. Hi Thilo.
Hello everyone.
Qualifying is just about to get underway. It's going to be 20 minutes of qualifying to set the grid for race 1, 13 laps of Fernbay Gold in the FXO. The results of which will be reversed. The results of race 1 will be reversed for the start of race 2. A fully reversed grid for another 13 lap race. Currently got 39 drivers who've set a time in practice. So another bumper session. Lots and lots of cars. Great to see. It's quite a short track this, but the drivers should be able to spread themselves out fairly well in qualifying, find plenty of space and get a clean lap in hopefully. So we will head to the track in just a second when the session gets going. Here we go then. As the cars make their way out of the pit lane and down to the first corner for the first time. All 39 of them streaming through the first corner. Some people choosing to hang around in the pit lane a bit, find a little bit of space, which is pretty wise. You've got 20 minutes to find your perfect lap. It's quite a long time. The tyres on the FXO don't really need much bedding in. They're up to temperature pretty much straight away after the outlap. You might need to get a bit of heat through the rear's mind. A bit of sliding around.
And there is already some, let's say, some pushing and shoving to get the right track position. Unite was just pushed out of the way on the outlap, which is already a great sign. But the car who's leading everyone onto the first hot lap, that's your teammate Adam in the white and red car, now coming around the last corner and onto the main straight.
Yeah, Adam will be the first car across the line to set a hot lap. He's in quite close proximity to Joni Katila, who looks like he's going to try and make use of the slipstream a little bit on this outlap. Remember, no slipstreaming is allowed during qualifying, so Katila's treading a dangerous line here, being that close on the first hot lap. If he sets a blistering time, I'm sure the stewards will look over that and possibly penalise for it. He's dropped back a bit now, but I reckon he'll still get a heck of a tow down the short back straight across the bridge here.
Down into the heartbreaking left-hander.
Currently 31 drivers on the track, so we're waiting for a couple of people. Adam gets very sideways through the double left under the bridge. This looks like a pretty smooth lap from Adam. And we'll see what the first time of the session will be as he makes his way around the last couple of corners through this tricky chicane section. It's easy to throw the lap away through here. Gets a nice exit onto the home straight. He's definitely done a better lap than Joni because Joni's dropped back a little bit here. Adam's first lap of 1:33.07. Yep, Joni Katila 0.3 adrift in second place currently. Trespasser goes fastest, a 1:32.34 for for Yes Motorsport. We're watching Michal, who just set a 1:32.99, good enough for third place currently, and it sounds like he is on his way for another lap. So he feels like he can get 2 flying laps out of his tyres. Not many people will be doing that, I don't expect.
Koivu up into second position with a 1:32.56.
Yeah,
The
Pekka
number
Koivunen
77.
from WCL, as Michal bails on that lap. We're watching Teamwork Racing Firexter. He's currently down towards the back of the field.
Just one of a few drivers who choose to go on to the second hot lap.
He's coming up
Back
against
to
a bit of
back, that
traffic.
is.
Yeah, traffic moves out of the way. Nice. It was fast moving out of the way. Actually, that was Gavin moving out of the way. Gavin now driving for the Teamwork Racing team. Some of you may have known that he was driving for the Nordic Racing team up until very recently, but he's switched camps and now drives for the organising team, Teamwork Racing. If you're new to watching this series and you want to get involved, you can do, as Firexter smashes into the wall on the last corner. You can find all the information about the series on the Live for Speed forum in the Teamwork Racing 2020 Championship subsection. The races are every week, all year long. There's a big prize pool at the end of the season for the best teams and best drivers. Something like €400 worth of prizes, which is a little nice, something nice for the end of the year. And it's definitely not too late to get involved. We're on round 14 of 50. Still plenty of points up for grabs. 24 cars have set a time. Zeban has been no stranger to the front row of the grid in the last few rounds, and it looks like he is going to be doing it again. He's currently our provisional pole sitter with a 1:32.25, faster than Trespasser by 0.09 of a second presently.
Ricciardo is now in the final couple of corners. He has quite a good split time of 58.23. Now coming through the last chicane, hitting both curbs rather gently. And now down to the line, 1:32.08 up into the pole position for now.
Very nice lap that. Displaces Zeban for now. Nearly in the 1:31s. That was a very nice lap from Rick. Rick has been a little bit off the pace in recent rounds, I think is fair to say. So he'll be pretty pleased to have got that lap out of the way. A bit of a show of his previous form, perhaps. Maybe he just likes this car, who knows. But anyway, Rick Cardle, provisional pole sitter for now, with just about 8 minutes of qualifying gone, 12 remaining.
And while we've spoken about a new addition to the TRR team, another addition to the TRR team, Frank is now starting his first timed lap. So far he has spectated in each of his attempts.
Yeah, Frank, one of the few drivers here who hasn't put a lap on the board yet. So he needs to find some space, which is going to be tricky when there's cars flying off the road in front of him. He runs a bit wide there, yep, and there's more traffic. One of his teammates there has to get out of the way. Very wild lap this from Frank, but at least it'll be a banker if he can finish it. Frank is definitely more accustomed to the LX4 and other rear-wheel drive cars. I don't think he's very fond of front-wheel drive cars, as you can tell by his number plate. Again, runs wide in the double left-hander and bails again, so still yet to set a time. He will have another go, as we're watching Ayub as he comes across the line. Abe currently down in 13th place. He's just gone on to another flying lap. Let's go on board with him. So show you a lap of Fern Bay Gold. He's just gone around the first hairpin. Here comes the first left-right chicane. Very easily to get that wrong and smash into the tyres. Crucial to find the line of least resistance through this sweeping hilly section. Plenty of time to be gained and plenty of time that can go away from you through here. He'll have a little bit of traffic to contend with towards the end of the lap. Has a bit of a lift onto the back straight, wasn't happy with his turn in, but he had plenty of runoff, so maybe a bit of hesitation. Heavy on the brakes for the turn off the bridge, 90 degree left-hander, which feeds into this nice double left-hander section that in this car is very, very tricky, and towards the end of the sprint races, the driver's tyres will be reaching a heat peak, or some sort of heat peak, where they'll start to lose grip and push wide. Next we have this hairpin section that's really good fun. Again, a lot of time can be gained here, and then it's just one final push across the last chicane. Big curbs here, easy to get that wrong, but he does it nicely. Abe currently in 15th place. Will he improve with this lap? He does.
Yep, up into the 8th position for now.
And it looks like he's going for another one, so maybe he's one of the drivers who thinks he can get a couple of laps out of these tyres, which is good. He'll need to if he wants to do well in the race from 8th place. 30 cars have set a lap, which is a nice sized grid for Fern Bay Gold.
But some names are still missing. For example, Ronnie has not yet set a lap.
Another driver who's joined the ranks of TRR by the looks of it this week is TRR Salmonen, so it doesn't look like anybody from the Nordic Racing team is here. It looks like everybody has jumped ship and moved to TRR. So that'll give Yes Motorsport something to worry about. TRR, of course, has Zeban in their ranks, as well as a whole bunch of ex-NRT drivers now. That's kind of crucial as we head into the mid part of the season. According to the organiser, Poulsen, Kryn and Ronnie have rear of grid penalties and therefore cannot partake in qualifying. They will start from the rear of the grid. Thank you for that. So that is why they are not currently out on track. Our top three currently look like Rick Cardle, Gavin Pete, 0.02 of a second off in second place, Unite for Yes Motorsport in third place. The top four are extremely close here, the top five even. I mean, the top 6, 7, 8, the top 9 are separated by half a second here, which is really, really close. I don't think we've seen a grid this close on a track this long in this series so far. People really, really putting in some stellar lap times right now. Rick Cardle out front, GP second.
Also the top 17 are currently within a second. Which is quite remarkable, since it's not the easiest of combinations for car and track and live for speed.
Definitely not. I'm very surprised. In a good way. This is really nice to see. Really nice to have this many drivers so close on pace. Makes for exciting qualifying and even better racing. Yeah, first to third separated by a 10th. Zeban is in 5th place at the moment, but he's only 0.2 behind, so this is how close it is. The duo that we've we see them quite regularly fighting with each other during the races. Upsas and Unite are 3rd and 4th. Unite currently has the edge over his teammate by a 100th of a second in 3rd place, as Rick Cardle comes across the line. To improve, he's the first man in the 31s, 1:31.89, absolutely amazing lap time. That was
That's
Upsas, sorry.
Upsas.
Yeah, Rick Cardle crossed the line just as the times updated there, my mistake. Upsas moves up to provisional pole. Apologies for that. With a 1:31.89. Gavin Peat now in the 1:31s. 1:31.97 in second, pushing Rick down to 3rd in a matter of seconds. It's getting really, really close now. Upsas has completed his lap and joined the spectators, and he seems to be happy with that. I don't think he's going to go out again. 5 minutes remaining in the session. I don't blame him. That's a very impressive lap time. Rick hits the wall and gives his car a little bit of damage, so he's not going to want to do another hot lap on that car unless he doesn't realise he's knackered the front end a bit. See how Kid's getting on. Kid's currently down in 29th place with his MG touring car style livery. Kid improves to 27th, just ahead of TC Racing's Elmo in 28th. Elmo currently on a lap, seems to be pushing. See whether he can improve. His teammate Adam is currently in 15th. Elmo is absolutely no stranger to the FXO, he absolutely loves this car, so pretty sure he wants to drag himself up the order. It doesn't improve with that one, it must have been an outlap. Unless he's doing some race practice. But anyway, 28th place for Elmo at the moment. Conquest Racing Arco is here with us today. He's currently 14th.
He's now coming round into the final complex. Oh, catching a bit of, and he bailed on that lap.
We're watching Pedro. Pedro hasn't been getting on very well with this car today. He's normally a front of the grid driver, but Pedro finds himself down in 17th today. Such is the nature of this very competitive field. I definitely don't think we've seen a grid as competitive as this in the championship so far on a relatively long track by TRR Championship standards. Pedro comes across the line and does not improve, stays 15th for now. Trespasser currently half a second off the lead. He's down in 6th place.
Good split time there, so might improve.
So easy to choke in these last couple of corners. You see a good split time and you start to tense up. You need to stay loose. Across the last chicane he comes, avoids the last big curb on the right. Up to start finish, will he improve? He does, he improves to 4th. A 1:32.16, nice lap, good improvement.
And now he is 1/100th of a second faster than his teammate Unite.
Yeah, but nice to see 3 Motorsport drivers up there. Zeban currently in 7th place. We're watching Born to Race Reject. Reject currently in 21st position, just behind his teammate Ivor. I think we'll see an improvement from Reject. I know he's quite good in the TBOs. Oh, he's gone off onto the grass as I spoke. Would have lost a bit of time on the exit there. .45 seconds left in qualifying, so anybody who's currently on an outlap, if they're within 40 seconds of the start-finish line, they will be able to set one more flying lap. I reckon if Unite's on an outlap, he might just make it with half a minute to go, or he might just be unlucky.
He's actually on a flying lap, but I think he pulled out of it a little bit because the split time is not too good.
Yeah, he's got plenty of distraction ahead of him here. As the drivers ahead of him try to scramble for the line, there's 10 seconds left, so Unite won't make it. Drivers who will make it will be TJ. I haven't seen TJ for a bit. TJ's in 9th. I wonder whether this is him setting up a lap. Anyway, he crossed the line in time. Qualifying's now over, so Pekka Koivunen behind him will get another lap in. But these two will probably be the last two cars across the line as Pekka decides to abort.
So TJ is the last car on the track to set a lap time.
Rick retook the provisional pole time, by the way, Tilo. He did a 1:31.84, 500ths faster than Upsas, so Rick really on it today. Really good to see him up there. As TJ goes wide, he will have bought this lap.
Great split time, but losing it afterwards.
Yeah, he bails on that lap. It's possible that Mega made it across the line in time. I think Mega's still pushing. Let's see if Mega improves.
No, he does not.
29th for Mega. So yeah, that concludes qualifying. Tilo, would you mind doing the honours?
Of course. So on pole position for the 14th round of the championship, it's Ricardo from Sidus, followed by Yes Motorsport Upsas and Gavin Pete from TRR in second row. Also in the second row, it's Trespasser from Yes Motorsports. In third row, it's Yes Unite and WCL Jani Katila. In fourth row, Zeban and Salmonen from TRR. Ninth position for TJ, 10th position for Born to Race Ayub. In the sixth row, we've got Koivunen from WCL and Michael from MRC. Seventh row, it's TRR Frank and Conquest Racing Arco. In 15th, we've got Pedro, followed by TCR Adam. Then in 9th row, it's TRR Texas from No Control Silver. In 10th row, we've got Ben Dover for TRR and Born to Race Eva. In 11th row, it's Reject, also from Born to Race, and Jari Katila from WCL. In 12th row, TRR Firekstar and Race Green Magic. 13th row, Giarelocco, the number 80 car, And the next WCL entry with Sony. In 27th, it's Kit. In 28th, it's Elmo. In row 15, it's Mega with Swifts. And in the 16th row, it's Sky of Red Devil Racing and TRR Joe Lover 7.
Rocky bringing up the rear, yeah.
And behind them, there are going to be the cars who were not allowed to qualify.
So Thomas Paulson, Kryn and Roney will join the back of the grid to form a 35 car grid here for the first race. That's going to be a bonkers first corner with 35 cars. Quite a big constriction down into turn 1 here. Normally see quite a lot of accidents. It doesn't matter what car you're driving at FE3. There's always contact, bumping, people off in the gravel. Almost inevitable when you've got that sort of corner. But hopefully they managed to get away cleanly. We have seen about 50-50 in terms of clean starts. Some tracks where we expected big wrecks, we actually found that it was very, very smooth. But on others where you expect a bit more sensible driving, we had not so sensible driving and big accidents on the first lap. Hopefully we get the former today, as Rick will send his FXO hopefully into turn 1 first, ahead of a thunderous pack of drivers. 13 laps, the order of the day. So yeah, we should be looking at about 20 minutes of racing, followed by a quick break and then 20 minutes of reversed grid racing. So plenty to look forward to tonight. Again, if you fancy getting involved, you can do so on the LFS forum in the TRR 2020 Championship sub-forum. The series runs all year, and there's prize money at the end. Drivers just currently out for a bit of last-minute practice, getting their race fuel set up, putting the right setup on the car. We won't see anything like the times we saw in qualifying in the race, most likely. A bit more fuel on board. Here we go then. Rick Cardle sits on pole position with Upsas alongside him for Yes Motorsport. And then Gavin Pete, Trespasser and Unite behind. Here come the lights. They're green. Rick leads the field away. He's immediately under attack by the two Yes Motorsport drivers behind him as they squabble. No, Gavin Pete's managed to get through. Nice chicane from the guys. Looks relatively clean behind, you have to say, into the chicane. We're watching Trespasser as he tries to eye up the back of Gavin's car onto the back straight. I wonder if he'll be close enough to get a toe down the back straight and lunge into the 90 left off of it. Here he comes. He's got a good run. He's alongside. He's on the inside where you need to be. Brakes later. Turns in, contact. They're still side by side. Gavin's on the outside for the double left. Meanwhile, Rick's getting away. He's opened up a second gap here. Still side by side. Gavin on the outside. He'll have the line into the 90 right. And he's ahead, so he's managed to save that position. That's really nice defending there from Gavin. The Yes Motorsport trio behind. Trespasser's having another lunge around the outside this time. Won't make it around the outside there, mate. Now Trespasser has to defend from his teammate. Gevin's opened up a bit of a gap. Upsas and Unite are following. See if Upsas has a go. Very nice first lap from everybody on the grid. Absolutely superb driving up and down the field. This is what we like to see. Everyone hopping over the tyres there. Pushing track limits a little bit. These three are spreading out a little bit now as they try and find their rhythm. Unite currently at the back of this little group, and then there's a little bit of a group gap back to Yoni Katilla of WCL.
Already 1.6 seconds between the first and second position.
Yeah, Rick doing a great job. Remember that his margin in qualifying was absolutely tiny, but somehow he's managed to get the tyres turned on, find his rhythm straight away, and Gavin Peat is leading the trolley train now. So far so good. I don't think there's been anything to speak of in terms of incidents on this lap. 35 cars. Superb.
Absolutely.
A big gaggle of cars here. Frank's in a little bit of a fight with his teammate Zeban. Zeban's had a shocker of a start. He's down to 21st position. But Zeban led from the front last week. Nearly won the second race as well. But he's not having the afternoon he wanted. As we've got Ivor and Swift side by side. It's a lot closer at the back of the field, it seems. But everyone's smoothly through the chicane. Oh, there's a bit of a send going on back there. That's not sure who that is. That's car 49 anyway. No control TP. Not sure who that is.
That's Paulson.
Thomas Paulson. Okay. TP. Oh, we've got a TRR driver who has taken Paulson out almost there. That's Kryn.
That's Zeban.
No, it was Zeban, yeah. Kryn's further back, so more trouble for Zeban. Down to 25th. He's got a knackered rear right quarter panel, so someone's been in the back of him. Or he may have touched the wall.
In the corner of the camera, I saw him fighting with another teammate and rubbing a bit with him. Not sure who that was.
The TCR teammates are side by side as they try to make their way around ailing TRR drivers, but the TCR drivers are knocking 9 bells out of each other at the moment, side by side through the hairpin, down in 27th and 28th. So there really are battles up and down the grid here. They kind of get into some sort of order as they muscle their way past Zeban. No, not Zeban, sorry, Firexter. There's so many TRR drivers on the grid, I'm getting them all confused.
And most of them wear this blue and white livery, so it's really hard to tell.
Yeah, I'm kind of thankful that Frank's wearing an orange one. We've got Roney in a very unusual pink skin for him today. Normally bright green as he gets mugged by the two TRR drivers and now under threat by Sky. Remember guys, this is down in 31st and 32nd place. There's absolutely amazing fights up and down this grid. Swift is currently leading the back of the pack in 20th. Meanwhile up front the order is unchanged. Rick Cardle leading from Gavin Peat, Trespasser in 3rd, Unite 4th, Yoni Katilla 5th.
Yeah, he has overtaken Upsas while we were at the back. So the Yes Motorsports trio is broken up by now.
Yeah, Yoni Katilla pushing forward. Maybe, I'm guessing that Unite... Oh, Upsas has made a bit of an error because that gap's opened up quite considerably. It was Unite. Was it Unite at the back of that trio? So it's possible that Upsas was involved in some sort of move and lost a place and a bunch of time because of it, at least one place that we know of. Meanwhile, further back, we've got a little battle going on between Pedro and Jay Katilla. Pedro holding the position around the outside.
Pedro losing a ton of track position, now fighting with Arco.
Yeah, behind them, Frank and Ben are going at it. Arco manages to hold the position and forces Pedro off onto the grass with that little move that went on there. So Pedro loses a bunch of places and will slot back in next to Ivor for the chicane. Kids on the move, Kids up to 23rd. Meanwhile, Rick Cardle with nearly a 4-second gap over Gavin. Really impressive, considering how close everyone else is. Gavin followed by Trespasser.
He was half a second faster than the rest behind him on the first sector. So Rick is still pushing quite hard. But looking at the split times, the first sector really seems to be his sector, because in the second sector he is doing comparably similar times to the rest around him.
Mega's had some issues. Mega down in 35th, right at the back of the group. He's fallen off the back quite considerably, so something's gone on there.
Yeah, and it looks like his suspension is no longer symmetric. Like his left rear tire is not in the same lane as his front tire. And looking how he takes the corners, it seems to be handling quite bad.
Upsas has managed to get back past Jay Catilla, so Upsas now catching up to the back of his teammates again, as they are still going at it. They have been since the beginning, these three.
Yeah, Pete really seems to slow the group down. Ayub is now in the back of Catilla. Ayub qualified in 10th position and gained 3 positions in the first half of this race.
Yeah, Rick now 5.5 seconds adrift from Gavin and the group behind. That's commanding. Absolutely commanding as they start their 6th lap.
Someone is in the gravel in turn 1. That's Texas.
Careful with the rejoin. Texas, he joins in front of his teammates and actually forces... who was that? Was that Salmonen? Yeah, Salmonen onto the grass. The only reason I could tell it was Salmonen is because he's stuck with his NRT colours. The pink...
Oh,
is that Elmo?
And Adam is off.
Adam's off, and there's another driver off there. Is that Yaraloco? Yaraloco's off in the grass as well, and he rejoins in front of Elmo. That's a bad rejoin. Elmo's spinning. Yeah, Elmo's been taken out with that rejoin. Elmo, very unlucky. Yeah, that'll get looked at after the race. That rejoin was questionable from Yaraloco there, straight into the path of the drivers ahead. Let's see if Adam's car's okay. Adam, a little worse for wear at the front. Not good afternoon for the TCR drivers at all.
Swift's retired from this first race.
Down to 34. Only one retirement, not bad, but we're seeing some drama in the mid part of this race now. Six seconds separates first and second place in this race. Pretty much the biggest group of anyone.
Ayub made a mistake somewhere. He's now under pressure from Koivunen with some touching into the chicane, and there's a crash.
just caught the latter end of that. Koivunen spins and taps into Michael. But yeah, big crash at the chicane.
Oh, and look at Koivunen's car. That's completely deformed.
Yeah, the rear end of that car is knackered. That's game over. He's going to have to either nurse that round for 6 laps or bring it into the pits, get a bit of repair on. But he's dropping down the order now. Were they side by side through the chicane?
Yeah, they were side by side, braking for the chicane, and then the contact was inevitable.
Yeah, absolute recipe for disaster, that. Oh, contact again. Koivunen and Ben come together. Kid's smashed into Ben now, so Koivunen causing a little bit of trouble with that damaged car. Maybe Ben could have seen the damage and been a bit more cautious, but anyway, Ben drops down to 19th and immediately gets picked up by Ivor.
Somewhere in that region also Frank must have an issue because he just joined the spectators in his first outing for TRR in this championship.
Ivor's trying to go around the outside of Ben. He's going to do it as well. That's a really nice move. But yeah, the drama has certainly picked up as Koivunen brings the car down pit lane. Picks the first spot and he'll repair and be on his way, but he will lose a ton of positions. Meanwhile, up front, it's definitely getting spicy between Gavin Peat of TRR and the 2 of the 3 Yes Motorsport cars. Unite's dropped back behind Upsas now, so we missed that at some point. Upsas is right on the back of
Trespasser
Trespasser.
to the inside. Just a tiny bit of overlap and a touch. Not doing a bump and run, at least.
We're riding on the front bumper of Upsas as he watches how his teammate Trespasser is going to attempt to try and get round Gavin Peat. You've got to assume that it's going to be on at some point. Oh no, Trespasser's letting Upsas have a go, so that's team orders in effect there. Trespasser lets Upsas through. Nice bit of strategy going on here. Each having a go to see if they can get past the TRR driver.
Also very transparent to the viewers of the stream as he used the indicators to indicate.
Yeah, but you've got to say that that's cost them all a bit there because Trespasser's dropped miles off the back now with all that work to do again, so it's all down to Upsas. Upsas is the last guy to have a go before they throw in the white flag, apparently. Before they give up. I don't see Upsas giving up anytime soon. That's a nice run he got through the chicane there. All over the back end of Kevin's car. Great fight this.
Struggling a little bit to hit the apexes.
Upsas with a bit of a longer 5th gear. Seems a bit long. Kevin got away from him at the end of the straight a little bit there because of how long his 5th gear was, and now look how much the gap's opened up. So, questionable setup choices as Kevin runs a bit wide. Don't think Upsas will be able to make anything of it, but nonetheless, the battle goes on. Again, tyres beginning to get a bit hot, pushing a little bit wide through a couple of the corners is Gavin. Definitely feeling the heat, not just from Upsas behind, but also from his rubber. As Upsas clouts the curb, runs onto the grass and loses a chunk of time, so that battle is neutralised once again. Meanwhile, further back, we've got Pedro trying to get past his teammate. TJ smashes the curb, absolutely launches the car over the final curb. I did say this in qualifying that those final 2 curbs are quite nasty, and Pedro's paid the price there. He was all over the back of his teammate, but dropped off a little bit. Not able to make the move.
Something must have happened to Ayub, by the way, because he fell back from 7th down to 15th.
Yeah, he was
he was involved in,
but didn't need to pit, so he carries on. Koivunen, meanwhile, is no, not Koivunen. Has he spectated? He has.
No, he's
No.
no.
Oh no.
Koivunen is in
32nd place currently. So Ayub, with a car that was still drivable, will get some. Will consolidate some points. He's in 15th currently. Meanwhile, with 3 laps to go, about to become 2 laps to go, Rick Cardle has an absolutely monstrous lead over everybody. Rick Cardle returning to fine form here. Crosses the line to make it 2 laps to go in race 1 of round 14 of the 2020 TRR Championship. Across the line comes Gavin, who's opened up a bit of a gap to Upsas. And the other 2 Yes Motorsport drivers clearly struggling with their tyres. A little bit off the pace now.
Ooh, Upsas with a small contact with Gavin there in the braking zone.
Yeah, we heard it on the camera, we didn't see it, but we're back with the action now. Gavin's tyres are dead, you can just sense it, he's been pushing too hard. Let's see this battle again from Upsas's front bumper. If Gavin's got tyre trouble, he's going to find this last corner onto the back straight a bit tricky. Upsas with a bad line through here, not making his life easy to get past, and yep, sure enough, oh, Gavin clouts the barrier again. But Upsas won't be close enough to send it into the corner at the end of the back straight. He'll have to try it somewhere else.
Red Devil Racing Sky just retired, bringing the number of cars running around this track down to 32.
Yannick Attila hasn't been able to make any inroads back past any of the Yes Motorsport drivers, so Yanni's currently down in 6th. Michael's had a good race here. Definitely coming into his own in this series. He was kind of mid to back of the pack, maybe mid-pack at the beginning of the season, but starting to become a front of the grid runner is Michael Malek from MRC. Had a very good outing in the 4 Hours of Aston a few weeks ago. Kept us all on our toes. Born to Race Reject is in 8th currently. Conquest Racing Arco crosses the line to start his last lap in 9th. Ayub 10th. Big group behind. Kids managed to get up to 12th, by the way, from somewhere in the mid-20s on the qualifying. So Kids having an absolute great race.
Reject also must have had a great race. He started also down in, what was it, end of the 10s or somewhere. Can't remember it, to be honest. So he must have gained also about 8 to 9 places throughout the race.
Kevin's managed to gap Upsas's tyres, he hasn't got any left. So Kevin lives to fight another day. But we don't care about that because Rick Cardle is coming around the last corner. And someone else is waiting. It looks like T. Paulson's waiting. He's going to do another lap. Salmonen. Across the line, Rick Cardle wins race 1. Absolutely commanding victory. Well done to him. Let's see what the gap is. The gap across the line.
11.3 seconds.
11 seconds ahead of GP and the Yes Motorsport trio of Upsas, Trespasser and Unite. Yanni Catilla crosses the line in 6th. Then it's Michael. Then it'll be Reject in 8th. Arco will take 9th. Ayub, after that drama, will take 10th place. So that's not a bad recovery.
Yeah,
Kid
he's back where he
not
started.
quite able to get into the top 10, but made a good effort of it from quite a way back. He finishes down in 12th, sorry. And we will bring you the full order of the day in just a few moments. What do we make of race 1 then? It was a very clean start, but it all kind of came a little bit undone in the middle and calmed down again at the end.
rather interesting to see. After such a clean start, I would have thought, okay, everyone is in their rhythm. But then suddenly there was some disturbance in the field, and it all, well, fell apart in a way. Mega now coming around the final corner to complete the results. And there we have them.
So yeah, that concludes race 1. Race 2 will start very shortly with a reversed grid. But yeah, Thilo, would you like to run us down the order of the results, the final results of race 1? And obviously these results will be reversed for the grid for race 2, but the majority of the points in this championship are available in the first race. Take it away.
So Ricardo won the race with 11.3 seconds from Gavin Peat for Team Rock Racing. Third position goes to Yes Motorsports Upsas in front of his teammates Trespasser and Unite. Sixth position to World Class Lions Jani Katila, followed by Master Race Car driver Michael. In eighth position, it's Born to Race Reject. Then it's Arco from Conquest Racing in ninth. 10th to Ayub, who matched his qualifying results with this finishing position. Then in 11th position, it's No Control Silver, followed by Kit in 12th, who came from 27th position. So he gained 15 positions throughout the race. But this gets topped by P13, No Control Thomas Paulsen, who came in from 34th grid position. So that, although it was a quite quiet race, we haven't seen him much on the stream. Up to 13th position, that's some success, I would say. In 14th position, it's TJ for Roda Preza Racing Team. Then 15th, Kryn for Team Rock Racing. 16th, Yari Katila for World Class Lions. 17th, Texas for Team Rock Racing. 18th position, Magic for Race Green Autosports. 19th, Eva for Born to Race. In 20th position, it's Ronnie for Race Green Autosports. 21st is Ziban for Team Rock Racing, followed by his teammate Firexter. Yereloko is in 23rd position, followed by TCR Adam. Team Rock Racing, Joe Lover 7 in 25th position. 26th for Soini, World Class Lions. 27th for Elmo, TCR. 28th for World Class Lions, Koivunen. In 29th, it's Roda Preza Racing Team's Pedro with the starting number 1. Mega finishes the race as the final car on the lead lap in 30th position, and 1 lap down are Bendova and Salmonen, both for Team Rock Racing.
Very nicely done. Thank you for that, Thilo. Race 2 will begin very shortly with the reverse grid format for another 13-lap race at Fernbay Gold in the FXO, the front-wheel drive touring car in Live for Speed. Kind of wish there were more front-wheel drive touring cars in LFS, really, but it's good enough for now. It's served us well for the last, getting on for 17 years.
Yeah, the FXO was there from the first S1 version.
It's gone through a little bit of a remodel over the years, but not many changes to the FXO in recent times. This remained a crowd favourite for many years. And here we go for race 2 then. Starting on pole, we've got Air Attack
Yeah, that's
Swifts.
wrong.
Yeah, that is wrong. What's happened here?
They joined too early, so the ones who did not finish the race were now put into the front.
Well, Swifts will take pole. He'll get a penalty at the end of the race for being in the wrong grid position, but we'll see how this goes. Away they go. Swifts leads RDR Sky away at the start. Here comes Frank, immediately swinging into top spot. Nice pass around the outside. Goes a bit deep, but manages to get it all hooked up. Swifts side by side with Salmonen. So see if anybody gets the chicane wrong this time. Looks like everybody's through safely so far. Bit of squabbling in the background. Ayub, more problems for Ayub.
Yeah, Ayub hit the wall that looks like tires, but actually is a ball. But other than that, there's a spinner.
Soini claps the wall onto the back straight, and there's another TRR trio. Rocky Firexter involved here. Nearly made it a 3 wide there, TJ, out of the bridge section. So those of you who haven't witnessed a reverse grid race before, what normally happens is carnage in the first few laps as all the fast drivers try to push their way through to the front, and this is the sort of action that you see, people 3 wide in every single corner of the lap. But it makes for some cracking viewing. We've got the Yes Motorsport guys at the back here now trying to push through. Our pole sitter Rick Cardle has had an absolutely terrible start. He's all the way down in 33rd position at the moment. He hasn't made any ground. Meanwhile, Upsas has made it up to 21st currently. Frank's opening up a bit of a gap over Salmonen at the front. Swifts in 3rd, followed closely by P. Koivunen, who, after his incident in the chicane, will be quite glad to be at the front, I reckon, for this race. He's followed by Ben and TCR Adam, Pedro in 7th, Elmo in 8th. Elmo,
there is a big gaggle of cars down in 18th position, led by Firexter, then Cholava 7, TJ, Michael, Thomas Paulsen, Upsas.
Yeah, Upsas side by side with Thomas Paulsen coming out onto the bridge. Absolutely crazy driving going on here. This is brilliant to watch. TJ's gone for a lunge up the inside of Rocky, thinks better of it, backs up into Michael. Bit of a half spin for Michael there, almost. Michael gets forced back down.
In the background, Upsas got a bump and run actually by Gavin Pete, and now is down to 25th.
It's anyone's game at the moment. J.A. Katilla, Yari Katilla is alongside Upsas at the moment. And here comes Rick then. Rick, our winner by a whopping 11 seconds in the last race, is caught up amongst all this. Bit of lag contact there with Yari. Kid onto the grass, moves out of the way so that Rick can slide on by. Right back where they left off, Upsas and Rick together. These two currently, I think, the highest place. Oh, a big crash in turn 1. That was Rocky getting spun around.
I think it was by No Control Silver.
Well, Silver, if that's true, showing, as his name suggests, a lack of control. But we'll see
though they were they were 3 wide there, so Silver might have gotten some contact on his part as well.
Of the front runners, it does look like Gavin is doing the best job at the moment. He's side by side with Michael in 18th place. 2 laps gone here, nearly. Well, 3 laps gone at the end of this lap. Nice move there on Michael. Then it's Yoni Catilla's turn to try and get past Michael, but Michael finished ahead of him in the last race. So that might be more tricky than he might want to believe. Frank crosses the line to start lap 4. TRR Salmonen behind. Then it's Swifts in a battle with Koivunen. Koivunen gets ahead, he's being pushed. Adam's doing a bit of touring car action, pushing Koivunen past Swifts. Bit of door-to-door banging there. Adam makes up two places pretty much. Swift's side by side with him through the chicane. Contact, Adam gets forced off into the barrier. Yeah, Swift's needed to bail out of that. Adam had the corner. Adam spectates and leaves the race. So Swift's with a bit of a questionable move there. Adam a bit unlucky to get tagged by him. He definitely left him the room. Had nowhere to go, and Swift's kind of carried a little bit too much speed. Didn't yield when he should have done. And that's that. Swift stays in 3rd place for now.
Ooh, Elmo just went into the wall and now is overtaken by Arco, Mega, and Texas has a look. Elmo with a late break.
Ooh, hits Arco.
Oh.
And somehow maintains the lead. Very uncharacteristic lunge from Elmo. He's clearly got the red mist. Not usually seeing that sort of stuff from Elmo, but there we go. Now he's in a battle with TJ. Arco's been sent right down the order now. He's in 12th. Elmo's getting a bit of argy-bargy from behind. TJ's all over the back of him. Wants to get inside Elmo's boot right now. Meanwhile, Texas has slipped past TJ, and this is where all the action's going on right now. This is the battle for 9th place between all these guys. Elmo runs a bit wide.
Yeah, he runs wide and gets love tapped by
wide.
Texas. Three wide. Arco to the inside, pushes Texas to the outside, and he gets the run.
Elmo forced off onto the grass. Oh dear. Oh dear. Tyres everywhere at the chicane. Arco now leads this little pack. Arco takes over 9th place, and Elmo's way down the order now. He's taken to the grass to avoid everybody.
Yeah, he got another bump by Trespasser, I believe.
Yeah.
And now he's completely out of rhythm. But Ayub stays behind him.
Frank's being caught. Yeah, there's no doubt about it. Frank is being caught by Salmonen here. Swift, meanwhile, is the best of the rest in 3rd, but Pedro, Zeban and Koivunen are closing in. Zeban is a little bit closer to the front in this race than he was in the last one. Clearly didn't have all of his own luck, or the luck he needed in the last race. He's currently in a fight with Koivunen, as Ben looks up the back of Koivunen. To say that Ben was quite new to LFS a few rounds ago, maybe 3 or 4 or 5 rounds into this championship, he's definitely come along quite quickly to say that the drivers around him have been driving in Need for Speed for many years. So fair play to Ben, mixing it with the best in the series. He's not letting Koivunen get away here, but he's going to go for the move as well, I think. No, just about. Sticks it in behind. Swift is under all sorts of pressure here now from Pedro, from Road Appraiser Racing, the Brazilian team. Haven't seen as much from them in the last couple of rounds. The TRR have been stealing all the limelight, as well as Yes Motorsport. Road Appraiser somewhat out of the limelight at the moment, but Pedro putting on a show. Gets sent up the inside by Zeban. Zeban's not going to have a run on him. Just Didn't get the speed he needed out of the corner there. Now Pedro can't focus on Swift. He's got to look in his rear mirror because Zeban is all over the back of him now. Meanwhile, Zeban's getting a bump up the rear from Koivunen. We're watching from Zeban's nose cone as he tries to make hair or tail of Pedro. Out of the last chicane they come as we head for 7 laps to go. Almost halfway. We'll be halfway at the end of this lap. Side by side.
Pedro looking to make it 3 wide.
Ooh.
Oh, contact.
Fair play for having a go, but they won't be pleased with that. That was very opportunistic as Koivunen barges Swifts out of the way. So Swifts loses 2 places in 1 corner. Pedro with a very opportunistic lunge up the inside of turn 1. Forced a 3 wide situation, but got away with it. He will now press on to catch up with Salmonen and Frank. Salmonen not actually gaining on Frank anymore, I don't think. I think the gap's actually opened up a little bit between those two. So we'll see in the 7 laps that remain, or the 6.5 laps, whether Pedro can catch up to those two. You'd think so. Pedro is not a slouch. Neither are Frank or Salmonen, but the point stands.
But Pedro is the one under pressure of those 3. Or those 4 even.
Absolutely.
No, those 3.
Meanwhile, of the folks that started at the back, Gavin Peat seems to be doing the best. He finished the last race in 2nd position. He currently in 11th, so just outside the top 10. He only needs to get past Thomas Poulsen and he will be up to the top 10. He's being chased by Texas, but behind that we've got Yoni Katilla and Rick Cardle, our race winner from the previous race. He's in 14th. He'll be wanting to make up a couple more places, maybe try and get inside the top 10 and see how much further he can get in the now 6 laps that remain in race 2. Gavin thinking of having a little bit of a cheeky move on Thomas there. More tyres going.
Salmonen got around Frank somewhere.
Frank must have made a mistake because 2 laps ago the gap was bigger than it is now, but their roles are reversed and Pedro is right there, so yeah, Frank with a big mistake, losing out on the lead.
Looking at the split times, he must have had an issue in the first sector. So maybe missing T1?
Or getting the chicane all wrong, more likely. The chicane, you have to say, is a more tricky corner than turn 1, but could have been anything. Pedro is all over the back of Frank now. Frank's tyres are dead. He's got no grip out of that corner. He's ruined his tyres, so either it's a setup problem or he's had a big slide somewhere. Pedro makes it look easy, just drives around him. Zeban's going to have a go as well on his teammate. So Frank just bleeding positions right now. Out of the top 3, into 4th place he goes. And it's going to be P5 because Koivunen's just sent it up the inside. So Frank is going backwards, and as you said about turn 1, he's gone off at turn 1, he's gone wide. Yeah, there's no grip left on those tyres. I don't know what setup he's chosen, but clearly not the right one. Swift's going to get him back as well. So it was looking pretty good for Frank, but Swifts is all over him. I don't know why Swifts is blasting his horn there. Frank had nowhere to go, he was on the racing line. It's your job to get around him. Oh, Frank's tyres are dead. Yeah, he has to spectate. There's being a liability in the way there. Meanwhile, Koivunen battling with Zeban. We saw Ben getting a bit sideways out of the hill section in the back of shot just then. This is the battle for the final podium position. I'm sure Zeban would very much like to be back on the podium.
Yeah, but Pedro is now putting pressure on Salmonen for the lead. Salmonen also struggling with the front tires. They actually look like Frank's tires just a lap ago.
So yeah, Salmonen not able to keep the tyres on the FXO fresh. This is a particularly brutal combo for the FXO, but part of the skill of driving the FXO in a sprint race is keeping your tyres alive. The top four now separated by less than a second. Such is the nature of a reverse grid race when everyone kind of funnels together.
Oh, Pedro to the inside in the first sweeper, but thinks better of it. Koivunen is the one with the best tires in this group.
Yeah, Koivunen knows how to drive front-wheel drive cars. Ooh, Zeban heavy into the wall. That won't help him out. Ooh, looked like Koivunen went very deep on the brakes there. He did. He's all over the back of Pedro. Zeban sends it and goes onto the grass and somehow manages to get the inside, even though he was on the grass, so not quite sure how he managed that, but he's up to third. Pedro's bouncing up the curbs. Zeban back down to fourth. Pedro sends it, thinks better of it. And now this top group is made up of 5 drivers, 6 drivers now. Swifts and Arco have joined in. Nose to tail, bumping off each other, proper touring car stuff. It'll be 3 laps to go, and any one of these 6 drivers could be walking away with the win in this race. You'd think that Salmonen is living on borrowed time right now with his tyres. Koivunen defends like crazy from Zeban. Contact. 3 wide in the background.
And not too far back from this top group, it's Ricardo in 8th position, making really much progress.
Arco's got past Zeban. Sorry to interrupt, but yeah, good progress from Rick there. Zeban's under pressure from Swift's contact. Swift is using a lot of barging tactics today, I'm noticing, and a lot of horn, pushing Zeban out of the way. I'm not impressed with some of the driving I'm seeing from Swift's.
Salmonen now into the wall, which gives Koivunen now a chance on Pedro on the outside. Arco, with a late break. Koivunen to the inside of Pedro.
You know what? Rick Cardle could have this. This top group is just absolutely crazy. They're holding each other up, fighting for position. It's going to be 3 wide into the first corner. I can just see it. Zeban's off on the grass again. You can see Rick in the purple car in the back of shot there, battling with. He's going to be battling with Swifts and Zeban. Koivunen gets round Pedro, and he's now all over the back of Salmonen, bumping him. Arco, meanwhile, battling with Pedro there. This is unbelievable. We're going to have like a 12 car scrap for the win on the last lap. Salmon has actually made a bit of a gap. He lives to fight another day. Here comes Arco.
They were 4 seconds off the fastest lap.
Oh, Rick gets barged. Swift and Geroloco side by side with Rick, and yet again Swift is involved in that and somehow manages to keep his position. Oh, Rick won't be happy with that. Rick drops way down.
Salmonen and Koivunen went side by side into the first chicane, but Koivunen thought better of it, so they stay alive for now.
I'm getting a bit sweaty watching this, Tilo. I'm wondering who's going to win. Salmonen's off. Oh, he's going to be in the wall. Yeah, big into the wall. Koivunen takes over the lead. Then it's Arco and Pedro, bumper to bumper. Ooh, twitching this way and that way. Arco's going to get the move done here. Pedro can't do anything about that move. So it's WCL ahead of Conquest Racing. It's a bit of a different order to what we're used to. But now Koivunen pressing forward. 2 laps to go. We'll be on the final lap when the drivers come around this last chicane section. Oh, goodness me. Now Pedro's got past Arco.
Koivunen sets fastest sector times, fastest personal sector times.
Pedro launching over the curbs.
So Koivunen is off for now.
Pedro went way too late on the brakes. Pedro's going to go deep. Oh, wow, he managed to get it rotated somehow. That won't have helped his front tyres, but went very late on the brakes and managed to get it slowed down. Rick's up to 7th, and he's going to be looking all over the back of Gavin Peat. Can he get a run here? Not quite, but Gavin and Rick came from the back of this race, having been 1st and 2nd respectively in the last race, now up to 6th and 7th. We are on the last lap. Swift's going for a move on Salmonen, side by side. Oh, Gavin Peat sent
Pete to
it.
the inside.
Oh, goodness me. Rick and Gavin make it through, but now you've got
And Joni
Catilla. Yeah, Joni Catilla manages to get ahead. GP onto the grass, Swift's off onto the grass. Now Rick's up to 6th. But what a move from Joni Catilla there. Koivunen comes out of the last corner, out of the last chicane. He will take the win in this crazy race. Fantastic to watch, crazy race, but congratulations to WCL and Pekka Koivunen. Then it's
Catilla with a better run, but not enough for Pete.
GP will come in 4th, Arco just ahead of him in 3rd. We'll run down the full order in a minute while we take our breath a bit. But yeah,
Wow.
intriguing finish. We've got side by side still across the line here between the no control teammates, Thomas Paulson and Silver. TJ follows him behind. Still got drivers finishing. Here comes Elmo after another dismal race. 25th for him, at least. 27th, in fact, for Elmo.
Mega is again the final driver to complete this race.
Kryn crosses the line in 28th. Then it'll be Rocky, the series organiser, in 29th place. And yeah, Mega will be our last driver as he makes his way around the last few corners. He's made a pit stop in this race, remember?
Like in race 1.
Yeah, getting very sideways and waywards with his car, having a bit of fun. Yeah, bit of drifting, bit of showboating.
He knows he's on the stream.
And across the line, Mega will be our final driver. To round off a 30-car finish. Wow. I'll put that down as one of the more enjoyable races I've watched in this series. That was crazy at the end. That was brilliant to watch. A little bit of controversial driving, especially by Air Attack Swifts, I have to say, but I guess that'll get cleared up in the protest later on. What did you make of that race, Tilo?
It was very interesting to watch. It was also one of the best races I've seen recently, at least from the action side. The only thing that's a little bit putting a shadow over it is the fact that Swifts and Frank and someone else, the top 3 on the grid, should not have been there, and they were quite in the center of some of the action here involved. So it might give some reason to discuss things. Let's say it that way.
That is a good point. I did forget that Swifts was on pole and shouldn't have been. But anyway, let's say hi to Sindra Silva. Hi.
Hi.
That was crazy. I don't know what it was like from your position, but at the front it got very, very interesting at the end there. How were your 2 races today?
With so few hours in this combo to practice, I think it's good effort TP. We just jumped in half an hour before the race and said okay. No, but it was hard. This car is having you're having issue with the tire temp during the laps, and it makes it dangerous around here when you're fighting. Also, having so hot tires, it's really hard to have control of the car, and even brake. It's hard. So, but it is what it is. I think it was fun.
Well, fair play. I know you've had a little bit of trouble this week with some people leaving your team, which is sad to see, but I'm sure you'll bounce back or in whatever you choose to do. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed the racing at least today. We certainly did from our perspective. But yeah, are you looking forward to the next combo? Will you be competing at the next round?
We had, like you said, 2 teammates left, and we have then going over to our dirt rally team name, changed the names, the whole thing. So me and TP are driving for that team in dirt rally and iRacing. We will for sure try to focus on that really much, but
so we may or may not see you in the future rounds. Then I take from that.
Yeah.
That's fair enough.
We will see. We will see.
Yeah. Well, if we don't see you again, it's been good having you. But I hope we do see you in the next few rounds. I know that it's been a bit of an up and down season for you guys, but an experience nonetheless. It's been good to watch you in the racing so far. So, yeah, thanks for that. I think we will pull up a few of the incidents on the stream at some point. I think.
Don't bring up mine, please.
just wait to see if we have anybody who wants an interview.
Yes.
But yeah, before I do that, I should probably run down the full order of the finish from the second race. Winning by just over a second was Pekka Koivunen from WCL, followed by Road Appraiser Pedro. Conquest Racing Arco took third, followed by Teamwork Racing Gavin Pete from the back of the grid, so good effort from him. A second and a fourth place today. Then it's Joni Katila, 2 great races. Then it's Rick Cardle, who wasn't quite able to get into the top positions here today, but did finish the second race in 6th, having won the first race and starting from the back of this one. Good effort, great racing from those guys. Zeban in 7th place, not able to convert his run of wins in this series to a further win today, but nonetheless he's at the pointy end of the field, which is where he needs to be going forward. In 8th place it's Yes Motorsport Trespasser, followed by TRR Salmonen. Then we've got Yes Motorsport Upsas, Air Attack Swifts from the front of the grid, finished 11th here in the race 2. Race Green Magic in 12th. Then it's Born to Race Ayub in 13th. Michael from MRC finishes 14th. Yarra Loco in 15th. Then it's the No Control teammates, Silver in the commentary box with us right now, in 17th, with his teammate Thomas Poulsen just ahead in 16th. Road Appraiser TJ in 18th, Reject from Born to Race in 19th, Race Green Roni in 20th. Kid, not as good a race in the second race, finishes in 21st. WCL Yari Katila finishes in 22nd. Then it's Born to Race Ivor in 23rd, TRR Firex to 24th, followed by his teammate Ben in 25th. World Class Lions, Timu Soini in 26th. TCR Elmo, another dismal round for him, finishes in 27th. TRR Kryn in 28th. Rocky in 29th. Mega in 30th. And we had 5 non-finishers in this race. Elmo was amongst those. Frank also, as you'll remember. But yeah, that rounds out the finishing results of race 2. Very, very interesting round today. I really did enjoy watching the racing. I think we will wrap the stream up there. It doesn't like anybody else wants an interview. Tilo seems to be having a bit of a connection issue, so I will thank Tilo for joining me in the commentary box. Thank you, Silver, also for the interview, and thank you guys for watching. Join us again next week for another round of the TRR 2020 Championship. And yeah, have a great week. See you later. Goodbye.